Jeff Bezos was like 32 years old, and he had a wife and two kids, and he had a software engineering job at like an investment bank, hedge fund in New York City. One day, he quits his job, takes his wife, takes his kids, moves to the other end of the country, to Seattle, on the other end of the USA, has no savings, takes a $300,000 loan from his dad, and launches a startup in his garage. It's called Amazon.
Do you think that was an irresponsible thing to do?
Fuck no! No, I do not think it's an irresponsible thing to do.
I have to disagree. What would have happened if they both failed?
Then I'm sure they can get a job. That's what I say. Like, even with my mom will say the same thing to me. Craig, listen, you gotta save more. Craig, listen, what's the worst case scenario? Craig, listen, what happens if you get sick? Okay, if I need money, I'll quit. I'll stop. I'll get a job. I'm sure a lot of companies will hire me. Whatever. We had students from India, from Pakistan, who were coming onto the application and applying for these scholarships. So we said, okay, have we stumbled by accident onto something super interesting?
So when we speak about why 90% of startups fail, but you're the 10%, what do you think was the different factor? And just want to follow up on that is, talk to us about your own finances. So let's say you get 1,000 dirhams per month. How much do you save? How much do you reinvest? And how much, are maybe for your personal expenses on maybe going out with your friends, because you still are, or where you were a 21-year-old and you don't want to miss out on those life experiences.
Are you saying he's old?
No. You're still very young, but when
Man,
you
see,
were
I'm
21.
27 years old, but I feel like I'm 45 on the inside. So, yeah, man, no, like...
Wait, why?
When you live the lifestyle that I live, honestly, you feel old on the inside. You're always tired. I sleep like 3 hours a night, 4 hours a night. I work 7 days a week. And that catches up with you, literally. So, I don't know. What is the lifestyle I choose? That's okay.
Okay. Fair enough. Now, her question.
Yes,
Yeah.
coming back to your question. Yeah, I mean, 1,000 dirhams a month. I don't pay myself 1,000 dirhams a month anymore, but I used to, and I had no savings. And again, that's the trade-off that you take. It's the safety versus ambition, I think, trade-off. And yeah, so I'd have 1,000 dirhams a month. To maintain my sanity, I love to go out. I love meeting people. I love going out to the bars, whatever, grabbing a drink with my friends, all of that stuff. I've always loved that. And to maintain my sanity, if you work a very, very taxing lifestyle, I need to go out. That's it. So if I have $1,000, I'm spend the 1,000 dirhams just going out, meeting people once every while, whatever, a couple of nights a week or whatever, maybe 7, 8 times a month, literally. But yeah, food, outings, bars, and that's it. If I didn't do that, I'd go crazy. I don't do that anymore. Now I pay myself a little bit more, but not that much, honestly, truth be told. And now a bit of it goes in a small savings fund that I have, but it's incredibly small. It's really meaningless. If I had to dip into that savings fund within a month, I'd be out. That's how small it is. But yeah, I mean, it's the trade-off that you make, right? For me, I grew up watching my parents work, I don't know, 8 hours a day, 9 hours a day. Okay, let me rephrase that. I grew up watching my parents wake up in the morning, go to work, wake up in the morning at 9 a.m., go to work, come back at 5 p.m., chill at home for some time, eat dinner, go to bed, wake up the next day, the same thing all over again.
1 minute.
It's the mic?
Yeah.
Should we move shift one?
You want to hold it? I can hold it.
No, because if you hold it, you won't be able to answer.
Oh. Okay.
Even if it goes floppy, Just don't touch it. Should be fine.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah, so I mean, I grew up watching my parents wake up in the morning at 9 a.m., go to work, come back at 5 p.m., chill at home for some time, eat dinner, wake up the next day, do the same thing all over again. Every single day, every single week, every single month for their entire fucking lives. That scares me. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be a robot and live in this rat race, literally. When I was in school, when I was in university, I wanted to this may sound cliche, but I wanted to go out there and change the world. That's it. And build something great, literally. And I think we've done pretty well on that, right? I think now I'm 27 years old, and the guy's average age in the company is like 25, I think. We're an incredibly young company. Almost half the people in the company have stock options as well. So they're all, I think, as the company becomes bigger, their stock options become more valuable. Companies today worth 25 million dirhams, and on we go from there. Literally, our objective at Secure My Scholarship is to build the UAE's first edtech unicorn. Never been done before, no other edtech unicorn ever in the UAE. And that's what we want to fucking build. And that's what we're going to try, literally. And even if we fall short from there, okay, we can't build $1 billion company. Worst case scenario, we end up with a $200 million startup or $100 million startup or whatever. Best case scenario, $10 billion startup. I don't know. But as long as we build the company that we want to build and we change the lives that we want to change, you know, our mission at Secure My Scholarship is to disperse $100 million in scholarships. We're not fucking selling chairs or cars or some shit like that. When Secure My Scholarship operates, every single week, 4,000 students, middle-class students, students whose parents are salaried professionals, come to Secure My Scholarship looking for scholarships to a university. So many students who live in Dubai and who want to study here, but their parents can't afford it. And their parents are like, listen, we're going to send you back to India or Pakistan. They don't want to go back to India or Pakistan. They want to stay here. Students from India who want to come to Dubai, or students from India who want to go to the US. We work with 400 universities around the world, across the US, the UK, and Dubai. And every single week, there are 4,000 students who come to SMS looking for scholarships at university. 20%, 30%, 50%. I mean, that's a lot of money. Just last week, there was a student who enrolled at the University of Wollongong, saved 95,000 dirhams across her bachelor's degree. That's a lot of money. For a middle-class family, that's a lot of money. So, you know, that's the impact that we create with SMS. And if we can do that, and if we can disperse the $100 million in scholarships that we want to disperse, then I think that we can build the company that we want to build. And if we can do that, I think that we could build the UAE's first edtech unicorn. And that's a mission that I want to fight. Fuck security, safety net, all of that stuff. That's a mission that I want to fight. When I wake up in the morning, that's what excites me. And for everybody that I work with, everybody on the team, when they wake up in the morning, that's what excites them. That's why we work 12 hours, 13 hours, 14 hours. Okay, fine. Yes, we're all a little bit selfish. We all want to be millionaires. Okay, fine. That's one aspect. But on the second aspect, we all want to make the world a better place. And we do that every day, every week, every month with the work that we do. But yeah, it's the trade-off, I think, to answer your question.
And now that you have like this overarching objective for you, right? You want to do this, you want to do this. So you're working 16 hours a day. It's a very taxing lifestyle. On top of that, you have, as you put
But
it,
it's a lifestyle that I choose, though.
Right.
No complaint.
No, fair enough, right? And you have a small saving, which you said, right? Do you feel like maybe down the line, right? How old is your dad by the?
My dad? My dad is 57, I think, 58.
I think.
Yeah, I think. 58, I think, this year.
Okay. So let's say when you're 58, your child comes to you and asks you for a $200,000 check. Dirham check, right? Would you be able to, do you feel like you'll be in a place where you can support that at this current rate?
I want to. If everything was according to plan, I think not only me, everybody in the team could do that. Not fuck 58, 38, literally, fuck 58. My plan or my objective in life is, okay, we take Secure My Scholarship to where it can go. We build it into what we can build it into. Maybe we IPO, maybe we exit, I have no idea. But around the time I'm 30, 31, 32, thereabouts, I'm 27 today, so 4 or 5 years down the line, Around that time, I want not just myself, but everybody else on the team to be in a position where they can then go and do whatever they want in life. I know so many people in life that are trapped, restricted by these same things that you spoke about: safety, security, savings, whatever. There's no freedom in their lives. They live life with this straitjacket. They can't do anything. You know what my biggest fear is, right? So I watched a Jeff Bezos interview a couple of years back, and Jeff Bezos said something that resonated with me so well. Somebody asked him, "Why did you launch Amazon?" Right? Jeff Bezos, when he launched Amazon, do you know the story of Amazon's founding, whatever?
To
Right?
some degree, yeah.
I mean, so Jeff Bezos was like 32 years old, and he had a wife and two kids, and he had a software engineering job at like an investment bank, hedge fund in New York City. One day, he quits his job, takes his wife, takes his kids, moves to the other end of the country, to Seattle, on the other end of the USA, has no savings, takes a $300,000 loan from his dad, and launches a startup in his garage. It's called Amazon. Now, okay, Amazon became $1 billion company, I think now $1 trillion company, whatever. But, it could very well have not been. And he quit his job, took his wife, took his kids, they left there, they pulled them out of school, took a loan from his parents, and they went to Seattle and they did this. So somebody asked him, "Why did you do this? Like, this is a crazy thing." I made these decisions when I was 21, 27. I have no responsibilities. Bezos had a wife and kids, but he did it. Somebody asked him, "Why did you do this? Like, what was your decision making?" And Jeff Bezos said, "I live my life with one rule, and one rule only: regret minimization." He said, "The biggest thing that scares me is to wake up when I'm 50 or 55 and think to myself, damn, I wish I'd done that. Or shit, why didn't I do that? Or fuck, I had that idea. Oh shit." That's the biggest thing that scares me. And so if I feel something on my inside, in my gut, I'm going to go for it. And that's the same thing, literally. I don't want to wake up someday when I'm 50 or 55 or 58, as you said, and think to myself, shit, what if I had done this? Shit, what if I had done that? And I'm telling you, you go home today and you ask your parents, you ask your uncles, you ask your aunts, you ask your grandparents, you all have stories like that. Literally, it is the most common thing, especially when you come from middle class families or working class families. All have stories. Shit, I wish I did this. Oh, damn, there was this opportunity. Oh, this, whatever. That's horrible, literally. And that's not the life that I want to live. I want us to get Secure My Scholarship to a point where, okay, fine, myself, the rest of the team, we're 30, 31, 32. And after that, everybody can then go on to do what they want to do. Do you want to work in a nonprofit? Go do that. Personally, I want to make enough money to then go and build schools in India. Now, that's not fucking cheap. Literally, you need money to do that. But I want to go to India and build schools, not-for-profit schools in India, to provide affordable education at the ground level. Now, this sounds like a dream, but okay, fine, it is a dream. How are we going to make it happen? That's what I want to do. Similar to me, there's another guy on the team who wants to be a full-time photographer, just go around the world, travel the world, taking photographs of shit. Now, I mean, that sounds like a life of poverty because no one's going to pay you to do that. But if you have enough money in the bank, go for it. Live your dream. Travel, go wherever in the world you want, take whatever fucking photographs you want. That's it, literally. That's what myself and the rest of the team are doing. One, yes, as I said earlier, it's creating the impact that we want to create. We've dispersed in 2 years of SMS, we've dispersed $7.7 million in scholarships to date through Secure My Scholarship. Our goal is to disperse $100 million. So it's creating the impact that we want to create. And also, on a selfish side, change all of our lives, literally. Our CTO and our CMO, they both went to the same school that I went to. They both live in Al-Nada and Guhaesh. That's where they come from. So many other guys on the team, they come from India, they come from Malaysia, they come from Indonesia, or wherever. It's a global team. We have 30 people. But that's it. No one comes from a background of privilege or, money or whatever. Everybody knows what it's like to struggle. And everybody wants something better than that. And that's the selfish aspect of this. When you launch a startup, okay, fine, you want to change the world, but at the same time, you want to change your life, you want to change your family's life, and everything else along the way. And that's what we're doing.
That
Just-
is quite inspiring.
Just circling back to the Jeff Bezos story, right?
Sure.
Do you think that was an irresponsible thing to do?
Fuck no. No, I do not think it's an irresponsible thing to do.
I have to disagree. So let's see why I disagree, right?
Sure.
You can name all the people who've taken a risk and succeeded in, like, say, a hand. Like, you can name 10 people, right? But how many people took a risk and failed, right? It's countless, right? So the probability is not in your favor. You may get it, but there is a high chance that you don't, right?
but that comes back to what I was saying earlier, right? You live life in that straitjacket. You live life trapped in that cage. I'll give you another story. You know who Ray Kroc is?
Yeah, the McDonald's.
McDonald's guy,
Yeah.
right? You see his plaque at like every fucking McDonald's. Ray Kroc wrote an autobiography a bunch of years ago or whatever. It's a great read. And in the autobiography, he describes an incident with his first wife where when McDonald's was first launching, he would have to always be on the road because he's selling franchisees, he's looking at new locations, he's doing a lot of that stuff, right? McDonald's took like 10 years to actually take off. Today it's this global behemoth. But back then, like, it was extremely difficult. And Ray Kroc was on the road 24/7, literally. And one day he comes home and, he tells his wife, listen, I'm going to be here for one day and then I'm leaving again tomorrow. And she says, when are you going to be home? Like, when is it ever going to be enough? And very famously or infamously, I don't know how you want to take it, Ray Kroc looks at her and he says, I guess it's never going to be enough. And if that's not good enough for you, you can walk out the door. And that's it, literally. Because it's never irresponsible to follow your dreams. If you want to do something, and if you're really with your true significant other, your true partner, or your family, they will support you in that, literally. They will support you in that. It's never irresponsible to follow your dreams. Imagine if Ray Kroc didn't do that. Imagine if he listened to Mrs. Kroc at that time. We never have McDonald's today. And that sucks. That's horrible. Imagine if Jeff Bezos listened to probably his parents. As I said, like when he moved to Seattle, he took a loan out from his dad, $300,000. Maybe his parents said, listen, Jeff, this is the irresponsible thing to do. Stay in your job and like continue on with your life. You wouldn't fucking have Amazon. The e-commerce revolution would never have happened. That's horrible, literally. It's never irresponsible to follow your dreams, I think.
But what would have happened if they both failed? Right.
Then I'm sure they can get a job. That's what I say. Like, even with my mom will say the same thing to me. Craig, listen, you got to save more. Craig, listen, what's the worst case scenario? Craig, listen, what happens if you get sick? Okay, if I need money, I'll quit. I'll stop. I'll get a job. I'm sure a lot of companies will hire me. Whatever. Arabian Business Future Star Award in 2019, Forbes 30 under 30 earlier this year. I'm sure a lot of companies will hire me, no problem. But I want to live this dream. And if I need money, I'll bite the bullet. Okay, fine, whatever. If I need 20,000 dirhams a month, sure, I'll go get a job. I'm sure I can get a job. And the same thing goes for everybody in the team as well. If they need money, okay, go work. But that's a last case resort, literally. First choice, first case, let's go out there, let's change the world. And it's the same thing in that scenario that you mentioned earlier. I'm sure Jeff could have gone and gotten another job, like whatever. If it didn't work out, okay, he would have set himself back a little bit. But that's okay, like that's fine. You can always go and get another job. There's a lot of jobs available around the world. You can always go and get a job. You can always save money. But you only have so many chances to actually do something meaningful with your life. There's this other thing that I like. When you're a kid and you're in grade 1 or grade 2 or whatever, they teach you measure your success by the impact you have on the lives of people around you. I'm sure you've heard that phrase before. That's bullshit. It's the worst. Honestly, you're training people to think small. Measure your success by the impact you have on the lives of people around you. You could be an absolute failure, be the nicest guy in the world, and everybody will love you. And by that definition, you're great. What I actually think they should teach kids when they're small, in grade 1, grade 2, is measure your success by the impact you have on the lives of people who've never met you. And if you flip that and you restate that line, whatever, if you flip the equation, the number of people who actually fit the bill is maybe 1% or 2% of the world's population. And that's it. Most people don't actually impact anyone outside of their closest 10 or 20 people. That's it. If you flip the script, now you have maybe 1% or 2%. And I feel like if you teach children this, go out there, impact the world, do great things, the world will be a lot better of a place for it.
You said, like, when you exit, you have a dream, right?
Yeah.
So let's say you exit with some amount of money, not some, a lot. What do you plan on doing with it? Are you going to invest it? Because that amount of money is not going to remain in cash forever. So are you going to invest it? Are you going to save it? What's that scenario looking like? I know I might sound like your mom right now.
Okay. Hypothesizing, what would I do if I had $1 million? Some degree of, I guess, diversified portfolio, whatever, some real estate here and there, yada, yada. But man, honestly, I'm a builder. Like, that's what I am. I love building products. I love building solutions. If not for Secure My Scholarship, an area that I'm actually very passionate about is water tech, or like clean water. I think that clean water is a problem, and it's something that we need to pay a lot of attention to in the years to come. And it's something that I want to work on. So, I love EdTech, and that's why I'm doing this. And that's why we're all on the team doing this. But if I had to pick like a different sector or whatever, maybe after Secure My Scholarship, I have no idea. I'd love to work on like a clean water tech company and build sustainable solutions to desalination or to provide access to clean water to millions of people around the world. I'd love to do that. So I think to answer your question, yes, some degree of diversified portfolio, okay, fine, some stocks, some bonds, some real estate. I'm sure you can hire a money manager to do that, like no problem. There's a lot of them going around. They'll take a commission as well, no problem. But aside from that, if after Secure My Scholarship, if I have a nest egg, like some cash on the side, I'd go work for free at a startup that I really care about. That's what I do. But yes, I think the golden figure for me would be $10 million. With $10 million, probably make 5%, whatever, interest annually. Now you got $500,000 in interest annually, and that should be enough, I think, to sustain your lifestyle. So if you have $10 million, you park that in the bank, that gives you $500,000 annual interest. Live your life. You don't actually have to work at all ever in your life. And anything on top of that is just, I guess, surplus cash. Spend that how you will. If I was to really think big, and I love thinking big, so I'll think big. If I had, I don't know, $100 million or $200 million, $500 million, as I said earlier, I'd love to launch not-for-profit schools in India. Now, that's going to burn through my finances really quick, I'm sure, but I'd love to do that. Probably name them after my grandmother as well, the Teresa Fernandes School for Underprivileged Children, some shit like that. And I'd love to do that if I had enough cash. But that's really big and like long term, whatever. We can't do that with $1 million. So let's see. I don't know.
All right. So you've been doing Lock and Stock for 6 years, and then it moved into Secure My Scholarship.
Lock and Stock for 4 years, and then Secure My Scholarship for 2 years.
Okay. Your LinkedIn says otherwise, but
yeah. So LinkedIn, we had like a slight pivot with Lock and Stock, but the core application was we wound that down in 2021. And then we had a slight pivot where we made it like a proper like wellness app. Before that, it was like lifestyles. We had the 1,200 partner brands, all of that stuff. But after 2021, we wound that down. We made it like a proper like wellness platform for like 2 years, which ran for I think it ran for about a year and a half actually. We wound that down in May of 2023. So I guess if we take the two versions together, it's 6 years. But the OG Lock and Stock was 4 years, and then the pivot was 2 years.
Why did you wind that up?
The original or just overall?
Overall.
Okay. The original had a great value proposition, right? Lock your phone in class, get rewards, get offers and discounts, go to Vox Cinemas, buy one, get one free, or go on noon.com for like 30% off. It's awesome. Students loved it. The problem was that doesn't scale, right? So we had a lot of users in Dubai, but very few users outside Dubai and almost none outside the UAE because you need offers and discounts for people to actually use the application. Most of our offers and discounts were in Dubai. But if you go to Abu Dhabi, we had very few students over there because we didn't have that many offers and discounts in Abu Dhabi. If you go outside the UAE, we barely had any users because we had no offers and discounts in Saudi or Bahrain or Qatar or whatever. So then, how are we going to scale lock and stock? We go linearly, city, country. No, that's going to take forever, literally. So that didn't scale. That's number one. So we wound that down and we had like a mini pivot towards like a full wellness application. It removed the offers and discounts part and really centered around just locking your phone, staying off your phone.
I'm guessing that wouldn't have gone well, right?
Yeah, I mean, it did all right. It solved the scalability aspect because, we had about, I think, 30,000, 40,000 users from like 80 different countries around the world. So that's awesome. It solved that scalability aspect. But
the value proposition.
yeah, the value proposition just wasn't there. Usage rates weren't there. Retention wasn't there. Turns out, when you build an application like that and you're asking people to stay off their phone without any offers or discounts, whatever, now you're very directly competing for time, right? Time is the commodity that you're competing for. You're competing for time with Instagram or with LinkedIn. And those guys are much better. They have a much larger engineering teams, much more sophisticated product, whatever. It's very hard to compete for that. And so retention just tailed off, usage tailed off, and that was that. So we then wound down lock and stock completely. And another reason why we did this was because we said, okay, fine. Helping people stay off their phones is great, right? But okay, actually, let me just backtrack a little bit. With the original version of lock and stock, yes, it was lock your phone, get offers and discounts. That's one aspect of the application. But along the way, we said, okay, fine. How can we offer more value to students? So we had a jobs and internships section on the platform. So you lock your phone, you collect rewards, and you can apply for jobs and internships. Then we had a scholarships section where you lock your phone, you collect rewards, and you can apply for scholarships and fee waivers. That's great, literally. And organically, we saw the scholarship section really build this momentum. And we actually saw like people from outside the UAE, people from Pakistan or India or Sri Lanka coming to the platform and utilizing, there were no offers, no discounts, no jobs as well for people in India, internships for people in India or Pakistan or wherever. But scholarships, I mean, you can apply for a scholarship to any university in the world. You don't have to be in that country. And we had students from India, from Pakistan, who were coming onto the application and applying for these scholarships. So we said, okay, have we stumbled by accident onto something super interesting? Is this one a need that is not being solved? Which it is. I mean, university education is very, very expensive for a lot of people. Is this a need that is not being solved? And can we actually scale this? So what we did was we took that section out and we said, you know what? If this is showing traction, let's see how far we can take this. Because as a small component on an otherwise large application, it gets lost. It gets lost and it loses priority as well in terms of the attention that we give it. Because there's so many other things to think about. So we split that out. We set up Secure My Scholarship. So we carved that out. We set up a standalone brand, Secure My Scholarship. We gave it its own standalone team as well. And so a team that focuses just on this. And we allowed it to run with its own roadmap, its own objectives, its own resources, all of that stuff. Now, after about a year and a half of this, so like version 2 of Lock and Stock and Secure My Scholarship, we said, okay, fine. Listen, if we take a hard call. Here we have a product that's doing $1 million in revenue and is growing very rapidly in multiple countries. And here we have another product that is, doing less than $1 million, lot less than $1 million, but is in a lot more countries, and the value proposition might not be as strong, whatever, right? That's how we weighed up the two of them. Now, when looking at it, we said, okay, fine, at the end of the day, we make decisions based on heart. That's how we've always been run as a company. When we hire people, when we retain people, when we make decisions about product or branding or whatever, we make decisions based on heart. And we said, okay, fine. Helping people stay off their phones, that's great. I mean, that's awesome. That's cool. But helping someone save $50,000 to go to university, that's fucking awesome. That's life-changing, literally. Will fundamentally alter this kid's life. Okay. And then we said to ourselves, you know what? It's very, very difficult to build $100 million company. Forget $1 billion company. It's very, very difficult to build $100 million company. It's next to impossible to build two. So let's focus. Let's give one of these two all of our attention and all of our time and all of our energy. And that's where we made a decision to wind down Lock and Stock. I mean, we still own all the IP, so maybe we come back to it at some later date. And for many people on the team, most of us worked with both Secure My Scholarship and Lock and Stock. They were part of both brands. For most of us, I mean, you know, we love Lock and Stock. Like, it had a very, 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 like, big place in our hearts. We love that brand. But we had to make a call, and we took a decision, and that's what we did.
Now, you work 16 hours a day on that mission, right? Of changing the world, hopefully, right? 16 hours a day. Let's say you sleep for 2-3 hours, right?
Like 4 or 5 hours, maybe.
4-5 hours. So you have roughly 4 hours of your life remaining. What do you do with those 4 hours?
I eat, and I spend time with my parents. That's what I do. I eat, spend time with my parents, and spend time with my girlfriend. And that's really it. Much to the annoyance of all of my friends who say, Craig, we never see you. You're never there. You missed our birthday. So you know what? I'm sorry. Like, that's my life. I'm sorry. I have like 2, 3, 4 hours in a day that I have to like just relax. And, you know, I'll spend that with my parents or my girlfriend. And that's it. And if it's something really important, okay, I'll be there at like so-and-so plan. But otherwise, you know, time is finite. And I spend that time with the people that matter the most to me.
The lack of time, like 4 hours is not a lot of time to spend.
It's not.
Right? So do you think that has lasting consequences, or are the people around you fine with you being a little bit off base? Because I remember, right, like a good example is whenever Aditya invites me to things, I just say like, no, I'm not interested. I don't want to come. I just want to sit at home and do stuff. Right? And what happened over a period of time is like that friend group kind of like moved away, and the only person I'm still in touch with is Aditya.
Yeah.
Right? So do these things happen to you, and how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it does for sure. Like, the number of friends that I've lost or semi-lost over the last couple of years is, you know, in the hundreds, I think. That's okay. Like, if someone doesn't want to be friends with me because this is what I'm doing, then that's not a friend that I want anyway.
Yeah. So just talking about your entrepreneurship journey, what would your advice be to young entrepreneurs who are just starting on that path? And, you know, it looks very glamorous. And I think mainly if you want to talk about, or just talk to us about your budgeting skills, because you were very smart when you said 18 months of zero income.
Yeah.
So just those tips for people who are just maybe starting on that journey.
So I'm going to answer your question in 3 parts. Right? Okay. Number one, I think just from a business entrepreneurship standpoint, you know, honestly, like, there's nothing more important for a startup founder, especially, than finance. There's a saying that they have with startups, revenue is vanity, profit is sanity, cash is reality. And if you don't maintain your cash flow, you will die. It's the number one reason why startups go out of business. They run out of cash. They don't budget, they don't plan, they have some cash, they spend it. Next thing you know, they wake up and they say, what the fuck, I have no money. Cash is reality. So if you're going to launch a startup or any venture, you have to know some basic finance. You have to know how to build, forget anything else. You have to know how to build a cash flow statement, cash flow sheet, and then project out. Everything else is rubbish. Forget the balance sheet, forget the income statement. That's all bullshit. You have to know how to build a cash flow statement, and then you have to know how to project inflows and outflows. It's actually not that hard, literally. Most people do it with their actual like individual expenses and incomes anyway. So it's not that hard. It's just a skill, or it's a habit that you need. It's the most important thing, I think. It's the most important thing when it comes to actually launching a startup, right? So that's number one. Aside from that, I'd advise any young entrepreneur. Number two is I'd advise any young entrepreneur to find something that they care about, like passionately, like deeply care about. There's a lot of fads that go around. See all these like now AI startups. Before that, crypto startups. Before that, metaverse startups or some shit like that. Whatever. There's a lot of fads that go around. Everybody's out there chasing this quick buck. Whatever. But as I said earlier, running a startup is not a sprint, it's a marathon. And after, there's, I think if you look at like the startup life cycle journey or whatever, it's a very common like graph that you see. There's this like it starts off at this like peak point, which is like a period of like excitement and euphoria. And then after about 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, whatever, dips into what they call the valley of death, where most startups die. Now to make it out of this valley of death, you require intense passion for what you are doing. You have to want to solve the problem. I remember at our worst in 2018, we were 3 months away from bankruptcy. And no one was writing us a check. We were pre-revenue. No one was giving us any money, whatever. We're 3 months away from bankruptcy. And we had to figure out a way to survive. And I remember not just myself, but everybody on the team, we worked 20 hours a day, every single day for those 3 months, every single day, every single week, whatever. And we made it happen. We made the company survive. We willed it to life, literally. But we were 3 months away from bankruptcy. And if any of us slacked, we probably would have gone bankrupt in 2018 and I wouldn't be sitting here, right? So that's number 2. Pick something or launch a startup that you care about very deeply or very passionately and do that. Go out there and solve that problem, a problem that you care about. That's number 2. And number 3 is, I think, the most important from an intangible aspect, but also sometimes the most forgotten. And I come back to something that Ray Kroc said, whatever, years ago. He said, what separates successful people from unsuccessful people? A lot of people think it's a great education, but it's not. The world is full of educated fools. These are his words. The world is full of educated fools. Some people think it's God-given intelligence. But it's not. Wasted genius is a cliche. I know a lot of people who are a lot smarter than me who didn't really amount to much. So what separates successful people from unsuccessful people? What is that red line in the middle that separates, okay, why do 5% of the world's population own 90% of all the wealth? Yes, some of it is inherited. Yes, some of it is family money. But in most cases, they just go out there and they make it happen. For every one person who inherited that money, there's another person who built that from the ground up. You see all these inspirational stories on like LinkedIn or whatever. It happens. So what separates them from everybody else? The key ingredient, according to Ray Kroc, and what I also think and what I would advise any entrepreneur, any young entrepreneur, any old entrepreneur, anybody who wants to launch a company, the key ingredient for success is hard work. Honestly, it's hard work. There is no substitute in this world for motivation, for dedication, for fucking willpower. If you want something, go out there and get it. Mental health balance, this, that, whatever, these are excuses. If you want something, go out there and get it, literally. And that's the key ingredient for success on an intangible level. Those are the 3 biggest pieces of advice that I would give to any young entrepreneur. Cash flow, project that, pick something you love, and there's no substitute in this world for hard work.
I think that is a very, very, very strong place to end the conversation. Thank you so much for coming. It was a pleasure to have you. You have such a nice voice for the mics.
Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks a lot for having me. Check us out, securemyscholarship.com, or if you want to connect with me directly. I love speaking with young founders. Message me on LinkedIn. I'm not on any other social media, so only on LinkedIn. But message me on LinkedIn or hit me up at craig@securemyscholarship.com. And yeah, thanks a lot, guys.
All right, thank you. And a huge thank you for Horizontal for offering this venue. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.